So we're coming up the back, all the way to the base of the neck. Open the arms, come out, and then down the arms. I think it's always nice to include the back of the arms in the massage as well. And then your client really feels as though they're getting a nice thorough massage. How's that pressure feel?
Feels nice.
This is just a nice one, I think, just to sort of start the massage, introduce the touch, and it's a good way of getting the oil all over the back as well. And then you make sure you get right down into the lower back, and then come up. I tend to come up into an effleurage now, all the way to the hairline, right round the shoulders, down the top of the arms, and then back down again. So this is just your basic effleurage really, but you're making sure that you're covering the whole entire kind of exposed area on the back. And again, this is a medium to a light pressure because you're still warming the muscles up. And especially if your client's not used to having a massage, or it's the first time they've had a massage, they need to relax into the treatment first. And then just move into a little bit of petrissage. So again, with this, as I'm trying to sort of save my hands a little bit, all the pressure is with the palm of my hands. There's no pressure on my fingers on this one. And then you can come into a few variations of this as well. Again, coming right round the shoulders, one hand on top of the other, little circles all the way down the side of the back. Just making sure that you're not putting any pressure over the bony areas, so not onto the spine at all. And then right round the hip. And then you can do it again all the way down the other side. You know, with your 25-minute back massage, you have got time to spend a little bit to do this, rather than sort of rushing into your deeper work. Another nice one is kind of a figure of 8 right down the back. So again, just one hand on top of the other, and it's just nice, big, smooth figures of 8 all the way around. This is quite a nice one around the hips. Especially if anybody does have problems with the lower back, it's quite nice to get in there. Another one, including the top of the arms, this is quite a nice one. And it's just backwards and forwards. This feels nice, doesn't it? Again, you're just splitting your hands backwards and forwards, pressures with the palm of the hands rather than the fingers, and again right over the hips. And down the arms. Then it's personal preference really, and there is no right or wrong way now, but what I tend to do is I kind of work down the body, working on the deeper muscles and doing a slightly deeper massage. Again, it's entirely up to you, but this is when you would adapt it for what your client requirements are. So if your client wants a lot of work on the neck and shoulders, obviously you'd spend a little bit more time on this and then move down. Your neck's really tight, this is, isn't it? Yeah. And it's quite nice just to come right up almost into the hairline. And then we can start working on these muscles a little bit. So pressure's a little bit deeper now because you want to start feeling for any knots, any tension. And I work on one side of the body and then the other. Now this bit is a bit thummy, but I think to start with, especially as a kind of new massage therapist or beauty therapist, it's good to feel what you're doing. You need to know what a muscle, you know, what a tight muscle feels like, what does a knot feel like before you start getting in with your elbows. Because the last thing you want to do, even with a deep tissue massage, is work so deep that your client ends up in pain afterwards. You know, because I have seen it before where people have actually been bruised after a massage, and obviously that's not good. So what I'm doing is I'm working around the scapula, around here rather than over the bone. So I work a little bit more around there, and then what I tend to do is then come round and I'm using one hand on top of the other and just quite deep pressure. I'm kind of pushing on with both hands, but it's slow circles, and I'm kind of getting into the belly of the muscle and just very kind of firmly but deliberately just working over any muscle knots. Does that feel okay there for you? Yes. I need to start to get a little bit of erythema there because we can really start to stimulate the circulation. So I'd spend a little bit of time working around this area. Come in and do a little bit of kneading in the shoulders is quite a nice one. And down the arm a little bit. And then just a bit of kneading down the back. Now what's quite nice is you're coming down here to kind of focus on the side of the spine, because quite often, more so in women than men, around that bra line where your bra strap would be, you do get knots down there, so it's quite nice to work that out. And then get into the hip area. And I tend to just break it up with a little bit of effleurage and stroking. And then I'm going to come around the bed, so I'm just kind of going to split my arms across like so and just work my way around the bed. So it's quite smooth for the client. The client doesn't even really know that you've moved around the bed. And then pretty much repeat on the opposite side, on the right hand side, what you've done on the left hand side. Just kneading into that neck, and then come around and feel around the scapula for any knots. Quite a few to work on here. Is it? Yeah. What we're not doing though is we're not working around this side here with any pressure, because it can be really tender and quite painful around there. Now, in a 25-minute massage, I'd probably spend a little bit longer doing that, just working the knots through. And I can actually feel the knots under my fingers as I'm working over it. There's something quite satisfying about finding these knots. Now this is the time that you need to be kind of asking your client about the pressure, because some clients, even though they might have a lot of knots and they might know that they have tension and they might want you to work on that area, it can be quite a strange sensation in that it can be a little bit painful. Now some people think that's a good pain and they're happy with that, where others just really don't like that sensation. So this is where you really have to be careful with your pressures. and alternate it accordingly. And again, we're working down the side of the spine a little bit, around where that bra strap would be. And then into the hips. Back round. Now, for deeper tissue massage, you can do, so if you slide your hand all the way down to your client and you're going to lift it up and you're going to pop her hand onto her lower back, just ask her to drop it down. Now see how it sort of exposes the bone of the scapula a little bit more? You can work around that scapula a little bit more now. Now sometimes you can work around it with your thumb, like so, to get in. Sometimes you can even get in with your elbow. Now again, you need to be just very slow, very steady. You don't want to be going, you know, hell for leather on here, because it will be painful. You can just get in. Does that pressure feel alright?
Yeah, that's fine.
I could probably go deeper, but I don't want to hurt you.
It's just about right. Because when you've got more knots, you feel it more.
Yeah, definitely. And this is one of these movements that you need to have at one point to experience actually what it feels like. Because I actually don't feel as though I'm putting too much pressure on, but I know from experience if you put too much pressure around here, it's so painful.
It feels, yeah. But now it's fine, it's perfect.
Yeah, and then you can just literally with your forearm, just do some nice big movements around here. And then when you're finished, you come all the way down, the hand on here, bring the hand out just so that you kind of stretch it out and then let it back down again. And then slide up so you're not losing contact as you do and all that, okay? We could do the same on the other side, but I'm going to come to the top of the bed now. So it's quite nice to get into the top of the neck, just with the fingertips around the hairline. This is quite a nice one. And then knuckling is a good one around here as well, because you can kind of get right into the trapezius at the top there. And again, it's saving your thumbs and your hands because you're using your knuckles around the top. You can also work around the scapula as well with this. It's quite a nice one. Again, just be careful around that outside. You're kind of just finishing the circle rather than massaging it. You can go down the backs of the arms with this as well. Slide down the back, either side of the spine, so you're not on the spine, either side of the spine. And then this is a nice one on the bottom of the back, so you're kind of knuckling in there. It's a good one for anybody that gets aches and pains on the bottom of the back. Palm reading. Cat paws, I always think of this one as. Couple of big circles is nice around the hips. And around the middle of the back. Around the neck. Now you could also get back in with your elbows here as well. So you kind of slide down the bed, take the elbows out, and then come back in again. And then finish by sliding down to the neck, and then come back up again. So you're not losing your contact. And then a couple of big effleurages to link, it's always a nice one. And then come back around to the side of the body. Again, just incorporate that neck. And I'm just going to half circles around the vertebra. And just slide it down. And then you can do a little bit of work on the bottom of the back. I mean, the thumb effleurage is always a classic. You've got the kneading, which is like what we just did before. You can also do a little bit of work in circles with your forearm around here. I think this feels nice, doesn't it?
Yeah. The uneven thumbs.
Yeah. It's quite a nice one. And the little circles at the side of the spine is quite a nice one as well. And then to finish, I always like to do a couple of nice big strokes. So I like this one, which is you literally just one hand on top of the other, and you just nice and slowly sliding your hand down the spine. And then split your hands, effleurage out to the side. And then lift one hand and then the other, so you're always keeping your contact